Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Wrath, back with another Dauntless video, and today we're just doing a little bit of an alpha overview and wish list with some of the alpha bosses in the background. Before we discuss the thoughts and ideas that I would like to see implemented in the game, let's just talk about these two alpha bosses really quickly. So, Shroud and Rezakiri. So, Shroud is basically a raven that consumed too much aether, and now is like a steroid-infused bird of death. He's not as bad as you would expect. In the gameplay that you're watching currently, it's actually my first time fighting him, and this clear was done with members of the Genesis Guild. This is the same guild who got the first Shroud kill and the first Rezakiri kill. I'll post links to those videos in the description so you can go watch those, and those are pretty cool too. His moves aren't too difficult to understand and dodge, but he does take some time getting used to, so if you haven't farmed efficiently throughout the end of T3, you should have had no problem clearing either of these guys. I think I maybe die once to Shroud, and if I don't die once to him, I don't die at all to him. And I think 2 or 3 times to Rezakiri. And I'm just using the full Naizaga armor with the Zaga Lantern. 2 of my pieces are maxed out, and the other 2 are at level 6. So that should give you some idea of where my defense is at. The skills that I'm using right now on this armor set are Hunger and Fortify. So what Hunger does to you, it gives you like a slight lifesteal. I think it's like 2 or 3% depending on how high your Hunger is, and it really adds up over time, especially with dual blades. And Fortify gives me this large shield and that really helps too. It's pretty considerable, and it comes back I think every 8 seconds that you're not hit, so it's pretty awesome. The only time I can see Shroud giving you any problem is if your danger gets too high. He's a pretty slow boss who doesn't have that many different attacks. Some that I think are particularly cool would have to be the clone that he makes, but you know, that's pretty much easily destroyed in a few seconds. When he locks you in his like shroud of darkness, and you have to fight him in the dark. And then I would say probably the coolest is the time bomb that he tosses out, and if you don't destroy that in enough time, it'll completely annihilate your health bar. And that's regardless of your armor. But I think the largest problem I think anyone will ever run into with this guy falls back to that danger meter, and it's not really for the reason that you would think. So as your team gets weaker, Shroud gets stronger, and he gains power as your deaths rise. Once you're at 100% danger, it's nearly impossible to kill this guy without a very skilled team, because he's just moving so quickly. It's pretty crazy to see, actually. Moving right along, we're going to talk about Rezakiri also. I would say he's arguably the coolest behemoth in the game. His attacks are like insane, dude, and pretty much left me in shock when I saw him for the first time. I really never expected a boss with a dragonfly design to send 1,000 little balls of death at my face. If you're a Chainblade user, you won't really have that hard of a time with him, but if you aren't, dude, you're gonna need some serious luck, or at least some serious skill, one of those, maybe both, depending on your team. This gameplay will also show my first time ever killing Rezakiri with the same group from earlier. So Rezakiri, just like Shroud, has his own special moves. A few come to mind are like the horizontal beams that reach across the map. Those are insanely hard to dodge. You have to like dodge forwards and then dodge backwards. It's this whole thing, but if you learn it, it's not too bad. His bubble, and it traps pretty much everybody in like this bubble of like, I don't know, it hinders you from moving around so he can attack you within the bubble, and so you have to destroy the bubble with like spamming attacks on the wall to escape it. Not to mention his little blasts of death that scatter across the map. He does that so often, it's pretty hard. If you run out of stamina, you're gonna get hit most likely, unless you're far enough away to like predict the movement of the balls and move in a direction where they won't hit you. I think I pretty much show a good job of how to dodge those with the majority of his attacks, at least, despite it being my first attempt at him, just because the dual blades are so versatile and mobile. And so if I'm playing pretty defensive with this guy, that's the reason why. Rezakiri also goes through phases, 1, 2, and 3, and his difficulty scales accordingly. So near the end of the video, you'll see him in 3rd phase, and he just constantly beats us down with a flurry of attacks. I mean, he could easily wipe a full team with no effort in this stage. If there isn't much coordination with the team, dude, you guys are done. So it's really a boss that you're going to have to pay a lot of attention to where he is, where your teammates are, and all of that. So he's still in development, so a lot of his moves at this moment are pretty much hindered, and because of this, moves like his 360 tail swipe, they come out really messed up, so it's kind of weird. Make no mistake though, this does never work to your advantage, and I feel like it actually works against you in a way. I think it took us roughly 18 minutes to clear him with our specific group due to a few of our weapons not being optimized. I think it was my weapon and one other guy's, but the other guys, you know, kind of compensated for that with their insane weapons at like 500 damage. So many of us have cleared much faster in my guild, excluding me. I'm not one of those guys. This is my first clear, so I'm just happy to get him done. But hopefully you can get a rough idea on how to fight him with chain blades from my demonstration. It's really a dodge attack, dodge, 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 attack, dodge, attack type of boss. So if you can have a bit of patience when learning this guy and his patterns, I have no doubt that you'll be clearing him in 15 minutes or less before too long. I feel like it was necessary to talk about those guys since that's what you're watching in the background. However, the main reason I'm making this video is, as the Founders Alpha is winding down to a close, I just feel that it's right that I voice a bit of my hopes for the game's public launch. I've had a lot of fun already with this alpha, and it was extremely satisfying clearing all the behemoths before time ran out. And it was a bit of a challenge to manage my busy schedule, and it was a great time nonetheless, but it was kind of hard with all the stuff that I got going on. But I can't say that I've loved every second of it. There were times where I wanted to bash my head against the wall. So in no particular order of urgency, I just like to talk about now things that I pray will be optimized and or changed or just taken out of the game altogether when it goes live to everyone. So first off, I would really like to go over the behemoth item drop rate. I really feel like some things are just absurdly difficult unless your entire team is focusing on a specific break part. Like some monsters' tails take, like Nyzaga for instance. If at least 3 of your teammates aren't focusing that tail, you're gonna kill him before you cut that tail. And it's pretty hard if you're not, using like a LFG or the Discord or a specific, clan. If you're just playing the game, just queuing up and going in with random people, it's really hard to get the items that you need. So that's something that I really hope that will be changed. Sometimes you'll break the part and you still won't get the piece. I've killed Nyzaga over 35 times and I still can't upgrade the entire set. What I would like to see about this is the drops in the default loot table. I would like to see everything possible to get from just killing him, but adding a much higher drop rate from breaking the required part that's currently in the game. So maybe you have like a 6% chance to get a smoked dew claw, right? But if you break his claw, it increases your chance like crazy. And maybe not 6%, maybe like 20%, right? Maybe not that rare, but you pretty much get the general idea that I'm trying to portray. I feel that that would remove a lot of stress and make this game a lot more fun. Now, I don't want to use the word forcing, but it really feels like the player is forced to grind the same behemoth for hours on end just to progress without any extreme difficulty. I just feel like this would be a good way to keep players interested. Now, I'm not saying everything needs to be super accessible, but I do, however, want things to be reasonably difficult instead of the way it feels at this point. My second point would have to be the crafting system, and that really leaves a lot to be desired, and I would really like to see more variety of consumables, and I expect to see them in the upcoming closed beta and open beta. And I know many people are also upset with the way every weapon and armor pretty much is just a recolor of a skeleton structure. But I refuse to put any input on this because I'm sure you know as well as I do that it will be a 100% change in the future, as well as more weapon types will be introduced extremely soon. So I really don't even want to discuss any of that since they've already clarified. But like I said previously, the crafting system needs a lot of work. I would really like to see lots of different ways of getting potions and lots of other items implemented in the game. That just feel like that would add more of a Monster Hunter feel, and that's always good. Being able to choose between mega potions or ancient potions or max potions or herbs, lots of different ways to heal would be better than just the lantern and the staffs in your potions right now. So I just think that would be cool. Thirdly, I would have to say that it would be the gear up until the end of tier 3. It really feels like I'm working so hard to upgrade my gear, but once I make any form of progress, my gear feels worthless, and like it was pointless to work so hard to upgrade. I would really like to see armor mean more in the future, and not only this, but to fix the bugged lanterns. Some of them say they're supposed to give you dual aspects, but they definitely do not. But back to the armor, I really hope that, like say the Shroud armor, it will last until maybe T4. You know what I mean? I know that's asking a lot, but a maxed out Shroud armor, I mean, for a whole tier, I feel like that's pretty much not too much to ask. But from all the things that I've said, I'm sure it sounds like I feel like Dauntless is a bad game, and that's the farthest from the truth. However, I do believe that this game has a lot of work to do, and could definitely be a diamond in the rough. I'm sure by the time the game goes live to the public as a free-to-play, they'll implement all the necessary improvements and fixes that will help with the help of other content creators like myself and many other people voicing ways of improvement. Whether it be the Dauntless Discord, the forums, the Reddit, and of course on YouTube. I think with all of us voicing what we have been voicing, they're gonna take heed of our words and do their best to make it as pleasurable for us as possible. So I think that pretty much wraps everything up for the day. If there's any gameplay left in the background, I'll just put some music over it and we'll call it a day. I hope you gained something from watching this video, whether it be because you agreed with me on these statements or simply wanted to see some more gameplay of Shroud and Rezakiri. If you have any ideas that Phoenix Labs could improve Dauntless with, please feel free to comment them down in the description below, or the comment section below, and let's talk about that. Like always, it's not necessary, but liking this video and subscribing are always appreciated. Before too long, I plan on getting a set schedule of times I'll be live streaming on Twitch, and that's once I finish my setup and get my mic arm and order my green screen, so be on the lookout for that. I just want to take a moment to say thanks for hanging out with me, and I look forward to reading all your thoughts in the comments. So yeah, it's been Wrath, and I'll talk to you guys later.